I've recently had over 100 conversations with many of you from the channel through actually speaking with you and even enrolling some of you in our first FedBid incubator program. But this video, I'm going to talk about some of the conversations and more so some of the takeaways and some of the things that I just kind of want to say to you based on all of the conversations. Like I said, over 100 of them that I've had over the past month. There are some very common trends and things that I feel like I need to, again, say and in some cases repeat. I know that we do have a number of new members to the channel. Welcome. The channel is growing at an amazing rate, which is awesome to see. We're reaching so many people and really making an impact. And I know some of you have been here following with me from a couple of years ago, kind of when we first started. And that's just really awesome to see. And also having some of the new members come into the channel and even, like I said, join our community and our first FedBid incubator program. So there's just about a half a dozen things I want to go through today that I feel like I said I have to say to you based on these conversations. So the first thing that I want to say is, if you don't know, and a lot of these are going to be like, if you don't know, I don't love goods. I'm the services guy. So many people approach me and say, Derek, I want to sell items to the government. Maybe you're inspired by the road salt video, but like I said, the road salt video, sometimes it haunts me a little bit because we did not go on to build our business off of road salt and road salt-like items. You know what I mean? It was my first contract and it was kind of a unicorn type thing. It's not really the standard or the norm. So I don't want people taking that out of context, especially those who are brand new to federal contracting, thinking, oh, I can just do this all day long and it's going to be easy peasy. No, it was under very certain circumstances that happened. And I don't know if it's from that video. I know for everybody it's not. Other people have other people telling them that. Other people come from like Amazon and they just want to like provide computers and laptops. It'll just be easy. Let me just drop ship those over and I'll take the profit and cool. It'll be a little internet game that I play. This is federal contracting with federal agencies, and there are a lot of competitors in this space. Since it's federal, you're not just limited to a state scope, like if it was a state or a city contract where only state and city businesses are bidding on it. No, I mean, the whole country is bidding on this thing. And the thing is, when you're providing goods and items, unless you're a manufacturer, we're not talking about manufacturing, that's totally different. I'm just talking about doing the easy peasy middleman, flip and switch, whatever you want to call it, and thinking you're going to make a whole bunch of money, it's not going to be the case, okay? A couple reasons is just that the margins are incredibly low, and not to mention the competition is incredibly high. For most of you, if not all of you, it's not worth your time. You could spend that time doing something else. You're not going to make a whole lot of money. And then you get opened up to risk because say, hey, you lock in the contract at a price, but guess what? The government makes your price have to be good for 90 to 180 days. So these laptop prices that you were just going to source out on Amazon or wherever, your price could change in the meantime. Guess what? You still have to honor the price that you're locked in for the government. Now you're operating at a risk, okay? I don't really get into the details with these things because I just don't really care because I am the services guy. Services not meaning staffing. I talk a lot about staffing, but construction is a service. IT is a service. Logistics is a service. These are things, healthcare is a service. These are things that is being bought. The federal government, federal agencies are buying on sam.gov. I can pull off and show you a solicitation. Our monthly bid lists, I've got a whole bunch of them if you haven't seen those. That is what I'm talking about. So I'm not just staffing. Staffing is a facet of services, but there's so much more to it. And I would prefer to see you go, and it will probably be a better match for your business if you have an established business to be able to provide that service versus just trying to do some quick flip items. If you really want to do something like that, don't even go to sam.gov. Go to Unison Marketplace. But I just, quite honestly, I don't even recommend it at all. So I don't want to spend too much time on that. I'm the services guy. I'm not the goods guy. That's the takeaway from speaking over to 100 of you. So next, a lot of you that I've had conversations with, I have to ask the question, okay, sounds good, but are you talking about federal or are you talking about state contracts or city? And in response to that, a lot of the times I hear, oh, everything. I just want to do everything. Okay. when you say that, that is very clear to me that you have not gotten clear on what you want to go after. Maybe you've spoken with a Ptac and the Ptac has told you that. Unfortunately, they are not all the same. There are different regulations. The procurement process is different. That's just like saying the only colors that exist are black and white. No, there's all sorts of colors in the rainbow spectrum, right? And each color is significant and means something. It's not just all or nothing, right? So I am the federal contracting guy. I don't help with city, state, or local. You should not be using my videos to help you in state contracting or city contracting. Everything I do is federal. So don't get me confused with maybe other YouTubers or other channels or other people or other websites or coaches. We don't all just do the same thing, okay? I only do federal, and that's because for me, the most important thing for my brand and my business and how I interact with clients is transparency and integrity. I only have experience in federal. So I almost feel like even though I could talk about and teach on city, state, local level, in part it would be maybe disingenuous, but maybe not, right? Because the information is the information. I'm not going to be giving you wrong info, but I could be spending that time so much in a better way, focusing on federal that I know on a very, very, very deep level. There's just so much more that I can share and that I confidently know to my core in terms of strategy and right or wrong and bidding and all that stuff, right? So I focus on federal. I do not do city, state, and local. Or even, I don't spend a whole lot of time in subcontracting either, which is important to say because if you want to do city, state, local, or subcontracting, please do. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. And that's just because my opinion has evolved over time. And that is because I've spoken with so many of you, interacted with so many of you who have no business, have no experience, okay? Or you're saying, the federal space, the contracts are too large or it's too overwhelming. Cool, I got you. Start smaller. Start with baby steps. If you want to be in this thing for the long run, if you want to run the marathon and not the sprint and still be here 2 years from now, and there's a few of you that I've actually had conversations with that have told me, Derek, I'm going to do this. I'll see you next year. Awesome. Make the investment now if you want to focus on the smaller city, state, local level. The Ptacs can even help you. Their forte is not the federal space. I can just be honest with you. The Ptac strong suit is not federal. They're stronger in the city, state, local level contracts, okay? Even in terms of their relationships and stuff like that. Federal just open things up to across the country. Sure, there may be exceptions, but the Ptac will be an even better resource for you if you want to hunker down for the next year or even go after subcontracting opportunities. I give equal weighting to that as well. I love it. It will teach you kind of how to do this stuff so that when you get to federal, you have put in the work, you have earned your stripes, and you are ready to go. And more than that, you're hungry because you're like, okay, I've done that. Now I want more. If you haven't even done anything, it's hard for you to say, I'm hungry, now I want more, when you're going to be kind of, really scared because it may be really large and overwhelming and complicated for you. Instead, start with that baby step if that's something that you think that you could benefit from. And the vast majority of you that I speak with could, and too many of you want to skip that step and just go to federal. So that's something that I wanted to say. At the end of the day, once you register, and this is another new point, if you're registered saying now what, at the end of the day, you need to start bidding, okay? Please do not go on the carousel for the next 6, 9, 12, God forbid, 24 months being registered and not even responded to a dozen bids. Please don't do that. You don't need to get caught up. You don't need to be overly focusing on so many of these things that I talk about on the channel, like JVs, GSA schedules, set-asides, your capability statement. These things are all good and they're fine and they have their place. Conferences, government contracting conferences, these things are all there. But when they kind of act as this amalgamation of confusion between you being registered and you bidding, if you get stuck in the middle where most of you kind of are like flies and you get stuck on this fly paper, unfortunately some of the Ptacs, they like to keep you there and they don't want you kind of going off, and I don't really like that, too many people spend too much time at the Ptac. I say use the Ptac for what they're supposed to be used for and then moved on. Don't be held back by that relationship or any of these other relationships. I'm kind of bundling them all together into this kind of middle space that I'm seeing. Like I said, I just recently spoke with 100 of you, and I spoke with over 50 of you just in the fall. So I've had a lot of meaningful conversations, and I'm trying to be even more potent in what I'm sharing with you. Register. If you want to take a pit stop, get some of these things situated, spend a month or two or whatever, cool, and then move on. Start bidding. Do not allow these things to stop you. Otherwise, you will be on this revolving carousel where you will be in the same exact spot, and you will think that you're doing something wrong or you're jaded or whatever. Start coming up with some awful excuses as to why you're not winning. But at the end of the day, if I were to ask you how many bids that you responded to last year, you would say less than 10. And I would say, well, that's a problem. Okay. It's not that you're doing something wrong. You're just not doing enough of the right things. So that is an important message for all of you. Next is, and you probably heard about it, our first FedBid Beta enrollment has now included. So at the moment, we are not accepting new members into the beta. We're actually kicking off next Tuesday with our first training, with next Friday doing our individualized coaching. That's how this is going to operate. We're going to be doing that for 6 to 8 weeks. And then anybody who is looking for assistance, maybe you missed it, there is an opportunity to rejoin. And that will just be once we open up to the rest of the market, to everybody else. Since the beta has concluded, I'll get that initial feedback, make some tweaks, and then we will reopen back up. And the time for that will be the end of April, early May. And I do actually have my calendar set up. So those previous links for enrollment into the beta, those have automatically been switched over to enroll for a call for April, like I said, end of April and May. I will link that up in the bottom description of this video. If you are interested in support coaching, this is not free. It is a 4-figure investment. If you're looking at getting some individualized coaching as well as training, that is what the program offers, and we are 100% focused on the bidding and proposal writing process, because I believe the more you bid, the more you're going to win. So I want you getting to the end result as quickly as possible. Like I said, I don't want you kind of getting stuck in this middle stuff in that revolving carousel. So if you want help getting from A to B, then that's what the program is, and you can get on my calendar. We can talk for 30 minutes. If the program is something you're interested in doing, if you are looking to make that investment into yourself and into your business, just make sure you click that link in the description of the video, and then that will take you there. But that's kind of the update that's going on with the program. The next 6 to 8 weeks, I will be live every week going through it, and then we'll open it up to everybody else. So the next thing we have, Ptacs, great for getting registered. Do not spend a bunch of money, guys. Unfortunately, I'm speaking to so many of you amongst these 100 calls, and it's like, I paid to register, I paid a lot of money to get this set aside. Just know you don't have to do that. Okay, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Ptac, Procurement Technical Assistance Center. Google it. A map will pull up on the homepage of their website, an interactive map. Click the state, it'll open up and it'll show you the different POCs. I know some states are better than others. Some have been affected by COVID. Hopefully that's starting to open back up. But there are in-person or virtual people that they are paid by the government to do this for you, for your business for free. Do not spend 2, 5, 10K to get registered in SAM. It can be done for you totally free. I don't know why the government, to be honest, does not make a bigger push at letting this be known, if you will. Literally, because if you Google, like sometimes if you Google SAM or you Google just registering in SAM and things like this, SAM is not what pulls up. Okay, I'm not going to name them. You go out and find them for yourself. But there are companies that are buying the keywords and the ad spend. They got their AdSense accounts hooked up for these keywords. They're very smart. For somebody who's new, they don't know what they're doing. They're typing in SAM. These companies are showing up as an ad on page 1 of Google, even before the real SAM. And people, it's really easy to kind of not realize it, especially if it's something you're new. You click on it, then it's like, okay, get registered in SAM. It's going to cost you X amount of dollars, right? But the X is really like X amount of dollars, right? Please don't fall prey to that. I'm trying to save as many as possible. The Ptacs are there for free. This isn't me being whatever, okay? I didn't invent the Ptacs. So use those, okay? That's really what I want to know. I'm trying to save you money here, guys. I don't know how many times I've said it, but I know so many of you are new coming in. So I just have to keep saying it. Next, I'm not going to spend time on this one. I have my note here. I'm reading from my list. It's best to have a business, guys. I'm not going to go on my rant. It's best to have a business first before approaching government contracting. You're going to struggle with not knowing how to price your service. You're going to struggle with not having experience from prior projects because you haven't done anything. So please have a business first. And that means if you have $0 in revenue, you don't have a business. Maybe you have a hobby or even less, okay? Please don't just prop up nothing and then try to go out and slay federal contracts. It's not reality. At least if you're going to do that, do city, state, local, smaller stuff. Build your way up, because then you will actually get revenue. You will bill out. You will have actual experience. You will know how to price. These are things that I cannot give you, especially in coachings. I can't just give you experience. I can't show you how to price for your business. I don't know what your overhead and G&A rates are, things like that. It's just impossible. I can help you with the federal stuff. That's my job, to get you through this federal paperwork and procurement and bidding, proposal writing, all that stuff. No problem. I can help you with that. But the stuff that you need to have in check for yourself, for your business, let's be professional. Do the things that you need to do so that when you get here, you are ready to go and you're ready to take full advantage of it. Okay, last one, and this is a bit of an interesting / fun / I don't know what to think, and then I will let you go. For those of you, probably a lot of the new ones, again, like I said, the caveat for today's video, I'm not actively bidding. And I don't want anybody to ever be like, oh, did you know? GovKid doesn't bid contracts. I literally created this video last week and I decided not to post it because I didn't want to have a whole video dedicated to essentially what seems to be negativity. So instead, it's just a short bullet point in this video. So no, I'm not actively bidding. And if you're asking me, so are you still bidding or what? That just means you don't know my story. And that's okay. Not everybody knows my story. I recommend you go get my book, GovKidMethod.com. You can download it for free in the free courses section. You can read all about my story. You can read all about when the contractor that I worked for, where I won 32 contracts worth over $15 million by my 30th birthday, right? That's my story. It started out with the first road salt contract, but then so many others, in between. And, I talk about the reason that I left. And then when I left, and, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now in the coaching and consulting space. I've been in the federal space for between 8 and 9 years. And I've seen a lot. And what's been really, really cool is since leaving my contractor job, where I did BD and proposal writing and I won the contracts, and now I get a totally different vantage point. I get to actually work with business owners from all different industries and walks of life, and kind of participate at a different level, and focus more on like strategy and what's getting you stuck and what do you need to do next. And for me, it's gotten to be very, very clear. The challenges are very common. I see them on repeat over and over and over, as well as the success stories. Those businesses that are doing things properly and right, even if they're just starting out new. I've gotten to see so many of those stories as well. So for me, when I just worked for the contractor within, say, my first 5 years in federal contracting, I was very limited to my own personal purview. But since these past 3.5, 4 years, I've just gotten to see, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and have so many conversations and success stories and those who remained stuck. And it's just gotten even more clear to me. So I guess that being said, get the book. You can kind of get my vantage point. It's free, like I said. If you don't know my story, I'm not actively bidding because I'm 100%. I have my own business. I have an LLC. This is my business. This is a coaching and consulting business. I work with clients, and first FedBid is I've transitioned to everybody being in that program is like being my one-on-one clients in a group setting, though it's not true one-on-one anymore. I'm not working with anybody one-on-one, so please don't email me. I get so many emails every day. Derek, can I have a call with you? I'm not doing that. If you want me to coach you, join the program. I'm simplifying my business it just got too crazy. Things grew really, really fast. So I have to, not in a sense slow it down, but I have to simplify it and organize it. So if you are a business owner, you have a service, you want to get into this space, the federal space, what I can help with, probably the best thing to do is consider joining the program and check out the link in the description, like I said. But otherwise, just hang out on the channel here. I try to give out so much information. That's why I'm not bidding. I'm 100% dedicated to this. And I don't have a business. So, I would be a hypocrite, right? Like I tell you guys to have a business. I don't have a business. I have my coaching and consulting business. Yes, that is dedicated towards working with small businesses, right? It's not dedicated towards providing on government contracts. Like I don't have some IT business or some construction business or, even a staffing business. Like I said, if I were to do it over and I had to do something, that would be the one that I pick. But you still got to do those baby steps, right? So I really get a kick out of interacting with you guys, and I live for the success stories and seeing you all take action, whether it's winning a contract or just, hey, Derek, I got registered, because you have a registering video that's 2 years old in SAM, and it helped me. Those are the things that keep me going. So that's why I'm doing this. I do this full time. I don't do anything else. I just don't want there to be any confusion, and I'm sure I'll still get the question, but I am full time in helping you guys. That's what I do. That's why I'm not actively bidding. It's not because I'm like saying one thing and doing another, So I think that'll be it for this video. Hopefully you got something from this video. Like I said, I wanted to share from our 100 conversations. And again, I am a services guy. I'm not the products guy. If you don't want to do federal, you don't have to. You can start out with city, state, local. At the end of the day, you need to start bidding, right? These are our bullet points. Make sure you check out the link for First FedBid if you want to get on my calendar for April or May to talk about joining the program. The link is in the description. Don't spend money to get registered and even hold back your money on getting set up for set-asides. I think I missed this point, but it's very common to pay 2, 3, 4K to get your 8A or to get your VOSB. Just so you know, majority of the people that I speak with who have gone through that process and now it's like, fast forward and they've completed it, they're not happy with their investment because they still had to go and get all the paperwork and organize it. All the person does is pretty much put it together and send it off. And so the hard part you still have to do. So based on that, it's my recommendation that you don't even pay to have somebody do it. Hold on to that money unless there's been a few where they're like, Derek, I'm just so busy. And these are established small businesses, a few grand is like a drop in the bucket for them essentially. And they just don't want to worry about the time issue of it and just, the nuances of getting the paperwork. So if that sounds like you, sure, go for it. But if you're kind of already on a shoestring budget, do not make some big investment in your business to get a set aside. That's really what I wanted to say about that point. Yes, you need to have I'm just going through my bullets. You need to have a business. We've hit on that a million times on the channel. I've done rants. Have a business first. If you need to do the baby steps, do city, state, local, then do federal contracting. And then lastly, get my book if you want to know my story and you know how I got here, what I'm doing. I don't ever talk about the book, but just because if you're asking why I'm not bidding, I'm full-time coaching and consulting, and we just covered that. So that is a conclusion of today's video, and it's been a blast speaking with so many of you, and I'm so psyched and super pumped to start this first FedBid Beta program next week. Go Rams. Super Bowl is this weekend. I'm going to kind of date this video. I have my reasons for that. Hopefully I don't get too much hate. But yeah, go Rams. And guys, have a great weekend. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.